So here is a public service announcement about how you, the detailer, is being exposed during these colder months. Let me quickly explain to you why. So it's currently -1 degrees. That basically means the roads are covered in what's called sodium chloride, which is road salt. Now, sodium chloride on the paint is extremely corrosive. Now, because of this, and because of the colder temperatures, of course you don't want to go outside and clean the car. So that basically means extended dwell time in all the important components of your car, suspensions, the lowers underneath the car, are currently getting corroded because you do not want to go outside and enjoy your detailing process, enjoy your detailing journey and vision to go and clean the car. Now, because of this, the extended dwell time is actually ruining your car. You've got salt staining, you've got corrosion, and when you do go outside, you are doing such a bad job of cleaning because you're cold and you don't want to do it, let's be honest, that you are swirling the car because you're not doing it correctly. You are rushing it, so basically half the car's missed. Your door jambs looks like a toilet that's not cleaned. And basically when you get into the later weeks of March, beginning of April, when the spring season really kicks off, you then get to see, when you walk around the parking lot, exactly who washed the car properly during the winter months. And now, because of the statement I have just made in this video, I'm going to be showcasing to you and actually showing you my personal curated 4-product list of exactly my go-to products in the winter and how to get that road salt off your car safely, how to protect your car touchlessly, and how to basically keep rolling around all year round looking like you're going to your car show. Let's get it, people. As you can see, this is a purple car that is now looking a bit like satin and matte purple, and in some angles it's looking like grey. So the very first product that you need to be talking about is pre-wash. Now, we're going to be talking about citrus. Of course, you know how much of a killer product this is. Now, the difference between this citrus and every other citrus in the world is the fact that this is the most concentrated, limonene based by content citrus in the world, by quite a long way, may I add. So what that basically means, your dilution ratios can really shoot up dependent on obviously your task. And my analogy about this is be your own barman in your own bar, and you can concoct this a million different ways and still be effective, from heavy pre-washing to pre-soaking of even fabric mats in your car and extracting them. This is pretty much an endless product, and this is why it is extremely popular. So as you could tell, this is silver, right? So the first product is, I'm not going to be messing around with any foam or anything like that. I'm going to be going with citrus only. Now this will rip through everything with ease, but also it actually has less mess for you as well. So you could technically, this is a low foaming-ish product done on purpose. Whenever you're in a controlled environment or you don't want the foam, this is the product. So because you are not using anything else, what I would recommend, you go head to toe on a car, choose your pump sprayer of choice, of course, and basically, as I said, head to toe, you're going to be spraying citrus. This is going to be your one and done kind of pre-wash. Now, the interesting fact is why I'm going dry instead of pre-rinse. And you know I'm always a pre-rinse type of guy. Now, because I have got a little bit more road salt on my car than I choose to, I just want to give this the maximum amount of dwell time. That's the only reason I'm doing it. This product is this strong at any dilution that pre-rinsing versus not pre-rinsing really will not affect this. Now, of course, you want to be focusing on the most susceptible areas. So I've got a very open kind of front end, which looks absolutely beautiful, yes, but in terms of the detailing world, it has a lot more holes to where road salt and other dirt can actually ingrain itself into. Now also, coming into the spring and summertime, this is an absolute unbelievable lifesaver for you on your windscreens, your front clip, against the flies. The flies are about to come, guys, and it's going to pepper your car with a whole different problem. Instead of salt, you're just going to have organic style contaminants to where pretty much everything, if you have had embedded kind of bugs and bug guts on your car, this is where the problem really begins for you. Now, real quick, while the citruses dwell, I'm going to give you a chemistry lesson 101. Now, people don't know, and to be fair, you know, if you are just an avid car washer and that's it, you don't want to go any deeper, you don't really need to know this, but I'm going to tell you real quick. So, the difference between acid and alkaline. So, citrus is on the very, very high end of the alkaline scale. Alkalines are usually designed to remove what's called organic. So you're going to hear in this video organic and inorganic. So organic is when you're talking fats, proteins, greases, and other kind of biological materials. So in terms of grease, that's probably the more important one within our kind of field of conversation here. When you're talking grease, you're talking, you know, oils as soon as it rains, gets hit up from the road, you know, your traffic film, all that type of stuff is classed as organic material. In the spring and summertime, when I said biological things, you're talking about roadkill, mainly flies. So this product right now is taking care of the first and most important bit, the top layer of the dirt. We're going to get to the water spot next, because usually that sits underneath what we're trying to remove here. So citrus been dwelling around 60 seconds. I'm now going to pressure rinse it off. We're going to move on to the next step. This is one of your most important rinses now. This is where you remove the salt and other things from the car. So be very particular with what you're rinsing. Now that we have handled the pre-washing step, we have removed the traffic film and the general dirt, if you want to call it. Now it comes to the contact wash. Now, exclusively through winter, so anywhere from mid-November till probably mid-March, maybe late March, it depends how the season kind of goes towards the tail end. I exclusively use Reset. It's an acidic shampoo, and basically acid begins to remove what's called inorganic things. So we're talking limescale, mineral deposits, chalk deposits. We don't really need to talk about that, but mineral deposits and limescale within this conversation of detailing is the biggest thing. Now, I have got 150 milliliters of Reset inside a foam cannon, and I've got 100 ml within a 20-litre bucket, in case anybody's wondering, of Reset inside my wash bucket as well. Now, the pre-soak itself, what I'm going to do, I do the double foam method as always. I always wash something, or I contact wash always with something on the panel already. So in this case, Reset. Now, the extra advantage of this is right now we will have limescale on there and mineral deposits. Now, not only is this good at completely removing it, if you have got a ceramic coated car, it also rejuvenates the properties of the coating itself, because coatings are susceptible to that level of contamination. So, but the pre-soak itself, by the time I foam this on, by the time I go and get the bucket and the wash pad, it's already, you know, 30, 60, 90 seconds. So it's already beginning to attack the sodium chloride deposits that are left onto the paint. And then the extra advantage, of course, of foaming your car soap onto the vehicle itself is you are getting to wash with one of the slickest things in the world under your wash pad as we speak right now. And this actually helps to minimize marring, swirling, scratching, etc. So in my usual tradition, I'm going to all of a sudden flip from British Nick, of course, oh hello, I'm not going to speak like that right now. You know it's going to go down. This setup right here, we all know what's next. Hello, my name's Jamie the Cleaner. Boom, foam cannon flip, baby. It's easier than it looks. I love you, Jamie. Before you say anything, foam it on. By the way, when you are foaming, don't look like you're having, you know, like a heart attack or a seizure or anything like that. I've seen so many videos of people going. Why? You're meant to be, one, enjoying it, and two, you're supposed to put an even layer of whatever chosen soap that you're doing. So just take it easy, relax, and go slow. So whilst the reset is doing its business on the inorganic kind of contaminants, as I said, I'm going to have 100 ml of reset into the wash bucket. So I've got a rinse bucket, it's completely clean. I've got my tri-fiber in here, soaking as it is, or pre-soaking, and I've got obviously some water in here. So 100 ml. Before we do it, give it a good shake as always. 100 ml. Now this is going to be a fixed dilution ratios, whereas the foam cannon probably dilutes it depending on your pressure washer, but as a loose kind of general stereotype times 10, this will not, because you're not adding any more water after you agitate it. So I've done this test already on launch. I need to do another video just to kind of show you again, but right now I know 100 ml with my level of water is running at about 3.8 to 3.9 pH, so that's still extremely strong, and this will obviously demineralize the car to 100%. Now, I'm not a fan of wasting, as you see sometimes in media, every time you go, psh. It's good to do it as a promo or whatever, but I've seen people doing it all the time in their homes and their businesses, so I don't want to waste too much of the product in here, so I'm just going to agitate it properly up to the brim. So as you could see, not a single drop spilled. Let's get it. So winter is a very strange time. Like I said, it's -1, but the panel temperatures are actually a lot warmer than that. So what you will see is potentially your dwell time is actually reduced still, even though it's absolutely freezing, but you just better watch for that. So the reset has had its time. Just think about it. It's had the time to loosen, slightly knock off, you know, round the edges off, however you want to say it, of the contaminants. And now your wash pad is basically picking it up, and if there is anything ingrained in terms of water spotting, the manual agitation power of reset is going to be lifting it very gently. Now, if you have used reset already, please tell me if this is not the slickest thing you've ever washed your car with. It's unbelievable. Now, gentlemen, don't forget to get your wipers while they're in this position, in this action. You should all be good at that, so there's no excuse for having dirty windscreen wipers, please. Oh God, I'm laughing. My mind's just bad. So see, should never have dirty wiper blades, guys. And now, this is where the secret weapons get revealed. So, wash the car, rinse it down, it's still wet. What we've got here is a very, very special product. This is what's called Foam Plus. It is diluted if you want the full strength, you know, full durability at a 1 to 9 in any container. So in this case, it's a 1 litre container, so 100 ml, Foam Plus to 900 ml of water. And you could use that ratio in a container this big, it's exactly the same. Now, if you're using Foam Plus, which a lot of people are, on a more regular basis than advised, so if you want to do it once a month, once every fortnight, you could start knocking it down to a 1 to 19 ratio, a 1 to 25 ratio, 1 to 30 ratio. It all depends how often you're using it. So in this case, I'm just giving you what I recommend if you want to do for 8 to 12 weeks. Now, it's on a wet car. We're going to obviously foam this on, instant rinse off. So in the winter, it's cold. You don't have the temperature to let a protective product flash as well. So something like a spray sealant or anything like that. So this is touchless. It doesn't require touching at all, obviously touchless. But the most important factor about this, yes, it is a very strong cross-linking water delivered sealant. Now, what I mean about cross-linking is it actually plays together with the clear coat. This is why if you overuse this week after week, you will never see the clumpiness that you see with pretty much every other product, and that's because it's not, again, like makeup. It doesn't just sit there and start layering and then at one point it becomes too much and starts to cake. This actually plays with the clear coat first, and then it starts playing with itself if you're doing kind of multiple layers more often. But the special fact about this is it's extremely hard to put in a touchless gloss enhancer. Now, a touched gloss enhancer, which is basically 9.5 products out of 10, spray wax, wax, spray sealant, you know, all these type of things which you have to physically force into the paint and remove, that's of course quite easy to add gloss. Now when you have to do it touchlessly, it's an almost impossible task, and that is the secret weapon of this, is because during winter, like I said at the start of the video, you could be rolling as if you're going to a car show 12 months around in the year, because this will not only give you world-class hydrophobics, it will also give you world-class gloss. Watch this. You want to hit the wheels, you want to hit the glass. Now as I'm doing this, please take note that this is actually, it almost goes on like a foam, as you could see. Now this buys you time during the warmer climates, and not like every other product where you put it on and it looks a bit like this. You know what I mean? Every other product will go on like this and it's just causing you major problems. And the fourth and final secret weapon during winter is of course the piece de resistance, the original GOAT of 2018. This I'm not even going to talk about. This is our drying aid called Detailer, no protection, slickness off the charts. And the main important thing about the slickness is, hence why we double foam, when you've got soap on your car, helps with slickness, reduces scratching. When you're now drying towels, even the very, very best drying towels in the world are still low to medium abrasive. So now you want to make sure that there's slickness on the car. Now this product has done the rounds globally, unbelievable product. Now you could do this one of two ways. If you don't have a blower like this, not a problem. You could literally go in now all over the car with the big drying towel and you could dry it. That's your drying aid method. Now I do have a blower. The car is a little bit hydrophobic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly blow it and I'm going to do my version of a traditional drying aid application. So the current steps that I have showed you is you're degreasing the panel with citrus, you're demineralizing the panel with reset, you are protecting the panel touchlessly with foam plus, and then now you're going to be adding some unbelievable crazy slickness and gloss on top of the foam plus. Honestly guys, this is the cheat code during winter. Now what I see a lot of people doing with drying aids is this: they will come in, they'll be like, yeah, drying aid, la la la, like this, and then they'll start to push onto this area, but then don't forget the towel can only absorb so much. There's no drying aid on this particular part of the windscreen or the paint. So what I like to do during the drying aid method is you want to spread where the drying aid is not, there's no slickness being added. Now eventually once the towel gets loaded, yes, but this is what I would do: light mist. And if you notice, I'm not doing this to where it's very kind of centralized. I'm very far back and I'm misting. That's how you do a professional drying aid application. You want it to cover everything. Now this is where you're going to see the beauty of it, right? Watch this. Towel number one. I'm going to do this. By the time you come back, it self-levels. Pretty much. Now, of course, the traditional way, the traditional way, I would always recommend the secondary towel. Let's do it on a darker panel to where you could see my example a lot better. The amazing thing about this, like I keep saying, it's a self-leveling formula. But still, look, there's barely anything to touch here. So the secondary towel pretty much remains virgin, but look, there's no streaks. You haven't got to use 57 different towels. Perfection. And this is where, this is my opinion, don't attack the messenger, but I do think what you are seeing realistically, this is where it puts you into that upper tier of detailers, whether you're a pro, whether you're a, you know, a guy in your own kind of garage chasing the, just chasing the passion, the vision. Look, it's just, please, it's effortless. It is effortless. And this is why this product has done the rounds around the world 57 times. Because if you could feel this right now, it's just, oh, silk. If you could see it, silk, diamond, reflection. Use any adjective word that you want. This is absolutely unbelievable. And just to show you, in case you don't have a blower, you can, as I said, achieve this with a big drying towel. So again, you take something like this, and you can actually come back, whether you have a paint towel in your back pocket, if you've got a drying air towel in your pocket, you could technically do it, but the first swipe without a blower has to be with something that's got weight and size, and that's just to absorb anything. But this side of the glass is just, it's almost not necessary to absolutely do anything. But there, look, you would come back then with, you know, a virgin towel, your dry towel, and you would do this constantly. And just in case you didn't know, this, best in the world. And that is how you go from zero to hero in the wintertime real quick. Now, the reason those 4 products exist in this video is you've got citrus, the organic. You've got the reset, the inorganic contaminants, you know, the water spotting, the lime scale. You've got Foam Plus, probably the best 2-in-1 touchless gloss enhancing sealant in the world. And you've got obviously Detailer, the drying aid. I'm not really going to talk about that product because it's sold out globally, everywhere, all at the same time, for multiple years, for a reason. Now, there is no point shrinking the product down to make your life easier if you're going to achieve the exactly same results as Joe Bloggers across the street with a scratched, swirly car, rusty car. There's no point. These 4 products in this order exist for a very specific reason. Now, if you really wanted to, you could technically strip wash your car, touchless wash your car almost every time you do it during winter, because if you mix citrus and reset at the right dilution ratios, they become so strong that they're ripping everything below a coating. It's just taking everything off the car. Now, Foam Plus will come in when the panel is of course flat because it's unprotected. Foam Plus actually works better on the flattest cars because there's actually more water sat on the surface. So during these horrific times that we have of salt, you know, sodium chloride staining, these 4, it's my personal curated list of how to make your car look like from what you've seen to what you see now. But most importantly, it's how do you do it safely? That is my ultimate concern. How do you make the car slick, non-streaky, products play with each other, and you don't induce any more damage than you should do during the worst time of the year right now, which is, you know, winter time and salt. So I hope this has helped at least one person in the world change their routine to be like, you know what? This actually works extremely well rather than using 57 products to do not that many tasks. So if you have tried this combo, please let me know. If you haven't tried it, I implore you, just do one wash like this, and I think your whole world of car care will completely open up. I would love to hear your experiences of this system in the comments. Please let me know. And as always, I will catch you all very soon on the next video when hopefully it isn't as cold.